Hi everyone, this is Jenny Ella.
Hi, happy to be here.
Yeah, so good to have you. Jenny is a yoga teacher and a dating and relationship coach. And a while ago, you were in the Feminine in Coaching course that is part of what we offer at the Academy for Soul-Based Coaching. And we thought it would be a really good thing to just listen and hear Jenny talk about what the course has brought her. So Jenny, could you take us back to maybe right before you decided, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for the feminine in coaching.
Yeah, for sure. Happy to. I arrived at that point just before finding your course. Um, so I was already experienced in feminine energy, as I'm working a lot with masculine and feminine energies within my online dating and relationship business, coaching business. So I was used to um, encouraging clients to come from more of a feminine energy place to find the results that they wanted. I was used to that. I had experience in that. As the many, many, many years I've been teaching yoga, I'm very used to holding space for my clients. So I had experience of feminine energy and holding space already. But where I found myself coming a little bit unstuck, which got me Googling, I found you through Googling actually, because I found in my dating and relationship coaching, my biggest frustration there was I was most often working with very successful, super successful business women. They were sort of CEOs or high achieving execs, and they were very, very in their masculine energy. You know, they were getting things done in their work, strategizing, thinking, controlling, sort of pushing and forcing in a way that was successful for themselves, but it wasn't working in their romantic life. And so my job as a coach was to find a kind of a better balance between their masculine and feminine energy so that they could step more into their feminine, so that they could then take on, this, be in their feelings, not just in their heads, more sensual, more softer, more intuitive, more receiving. Many of these wonderful women were so used to sort of pushing and forcing their way, they found it really hard to receive. And of course, you need to be able to do all those things for romance to happen, to form a sort of intimate, loving relationship with somebody. So I was doing all that in the coaching, but I kept finding myself on this edge. I knew from my coaching experience already and from my yoga teaching that I wanted to coach them. And what I kept finding was I wanted to kind of lean forward, almost get into my own masculine energy and teach them, because I knew what would work. I thought I knew what the steps they should take to get where where they wanted to go. And I kept finding myself, normally I'm very much in my sort of feminine energy, but I kept finding in the coaching I was really struggling to not get in my masculine and just do it all from that, feeling like I've got to fix them and sort them and find a solution for them. And I felt quite a lot of pressure for them to find their man if they come to me online dating, and that I somehow had to make everything right for them. And so that was the frustration. I knew that I wanted to be more in my feminine energy, and I was very able to do it in the rest of my life. But I was coming to this coaching getting too much in my masculine energy myself. So I began Googling, because I wanted to find a feminine energy course where I could really look at how to coach better, I think, in that way. And I looked at lots of people, and I looked at lots of yoga teachers to work with. I looked at all kinds of coaches, and I found you. And immediately, as soon as I saw you and heard you speak, I really connected with what you were saying. And I thought, I think she might be the one. So I then, looked a lot more at what your work was and what you were, offering, and signed up with you. And what's been worked so beautifully for me, like through taking your course, is that I've done all that. I came with the experience that I had in feminine energy and holding space, but through your course, I've just taken it to a whole other level. You've really deepened my skills in being able to hold space and to understand really what holding space is about. You know, how you can really be, I think as yoga teachers, we're so used to talking about being present and grounded, and we want all of that, but it's also this element of trust that you were talking about, how you can just trust that the client doesn't need to be fixed by me. You know, I can trust that they have what they need within them to fix themselves. And so my role as a coach, as I would now see it, is that I'm, you know, this container, this safe container, the riverbed, a sort of container of support through which that stuck river, if you like, can begin to flow again. And that is more my role, rather than getting into this fixing and sorting them, even though I was doing it in a very kind, loving way, you know, but it somehow doesn't. And what I found through you is how to hold space really well, how to guide people back to their inner wisdom, their own soul knowing, their own intuition, and find their own creative ways to make whatever they want to have happen. And so it was amazing. I mean, it was great fun, the course, really enjoyed it, but it really has definitely made me a better coach for sure. And actually, it's also made me a better yoga teacher too. You know, I think I'm much more able to hold space in my yoga classes. I'm more confident about it. I'm more relaxed about it. I think I guide with much more ease. And I think the big one for me is that as I'm guiding, I'm also able to really take care of myself in the process. And that was something. I'm trained with Strala Yoga. I've trained as a vinyasa teacher, but I'm also trained as a Strala Yoga teacher. And that was something, or Strala Yoga guide, that was something I was already doing with Strala and very aware of and wanted to improve in. And I think this has just added another layer to that Strala training that I took, where I'm really taking care of myself in the process of teaching. So that I think before I was so busy getting on the other side of the street to look after the clients and, you know, nurtured the people that I was guiding classes for, I could sometimes forget about myself. You know, maybe I was telling them to breathe beautifully, but was I doing it myself while I was talking and, you know, thinking about 100 other things in the room because I was looking at all the different people? Or maybe I was pushing myself into some back bend that actually, because I wanted to demonstrate it, when actually I hadn't had any sleep the night before and it didn't feel quite right for me to go into that, you know, more advanced back bend that day. And I think what my yoga training began and what has really deepened with my training with you is to not do that, you know, to take care of my own body within that yoga class just as much as I'm taking care of my, you know, the people that I'm teaching.
Yes.
And so that's been amazing for me, you know.
Yeah. Is there a relationship between the leaning forward that you were mentioning earlier that you were doing in your coaching before, and maybe also in the yoga you were doing, like when you're saying reaching the other side of the street, also it has that kind of leaning forward, and it sounds like when I'm listening to you that there is more of a staying with yourself and your own energy while you're holding that safe container.
Yes, I think that's what I've really learned to do well, is that I'm not sort of, you know, getting in amongst their business, but actually being the safe container to hold them and support them without actually getting overly involved in it, you know, overly controlling what I think should happen, you know. And so I think for me, it's about really fully embodying that feminine energy, not just in my coaching or my teaching yoga, but in my whole self, for my whole life and everything that I do. So that's been a really wonderful learning for me. So thank you.
Because what difference has it made that all of this is now possible?
Well, as I said, I mean, it's definitely made me a better coach and a better yoga guide for sure. But I think it has really spilled out just into all areas of my life. I mean, I feel more confidence in everything that I'm doing, whether that's work or my personal life. I feel more ease. I feel less wanting to be perfectionist. You know, that has really taken a big step back for me, which is just lovely. And what else? I think it's really stopped me wanting to overfunction. That's probably the best way I can describe it. And so that I can stay very much more nourished by my work, much more nourished by my relationships, and much more easily, as well as guiding people back to their own inner wisdom. Of course, to do that, I found a really good way to guide myself back to my own inner wisdom, so that I know, I'm kind of staying with myself, as you say. I kind of coming home to myself and really feeling, what do I want or not want in life? What do I like or not like? Or what feels really right and true for me in life? And so I think in that way, it's really helped me with living with purpose, I suppose, is how I would, I'd phrase it. So yeah, it's really helped me with that. And it's helped on what I love about your coaching is that although we see all these amazing magical changes, transformations happening in people, which I love. And what I love, it's kind of like it's magic, but it's also practical magic. And what I love about your course is that it's practical too. These amazing transformations that are happening perhaps on a soul level, spiritual level, but you'll see them translated into practical things happening in my clients' everyday life. It's not just some airy fairy talk. It's actually happening in everyday life, and that has been wonderful to witness and to be a part of for myself. And I don't know if this is interesting to you, but one thing I've really noticed since I took that course is in testimonials. When I'm always hopeless about asking my clients for testimonials, I'm just really hopeless at doing it. And then occasionally I'd, send out letters sometimes and just say, would anyone like to say anything nice about me, that I can put on my website or something. And people would always come back with lovely words and lovely testimonials. And often I wouldn't need to ask at all. They'd just write something and it was just lovely. But what I've noticed since doing that course is the words that people are using in the testimonials are different. And before the course, I think people would talk about me, how I was very warm, very giving. What else would they say? Very experienced, very friendly, very calm, very knowledgeable, very, we might say they felt stronger, more flexible. There were those kinds of words. And now, I don't know, testimonials are just kind of pouring in. I've not asked anyone for a single testimonial whatsoever, but they're just kind of coming in, particularly over the last sort of year or so. And the word seems different. Rather than talking about me being calm and friendly and supportive and this and that, they're talking about themselves. They're saying how that they feel safe in the classes, how they feel more connected. There was a lovely lady who wrote to me, I think last week, and she said, she had a fabulous expression. She said something like, I've come out of the dark and dusty corner into the wild party of life. I just love that. But it was about what's happening inside of themselves, not about what they were seeing, whether I was calm or friendly or experienced or knowledgeable. It was what they were getting out of that, what was really unfolding within themselves. And I think that's a shift that's really happened because I feel much more confident and ease in this feminine energy and in terms of holding space for others and myself. So
beautiful
little example for you. But and certainly so much has happened since I've done that. I've created 2 new online businesses. I created a yoga online business that's really thriving and taking off, and everyone talks about how I thought I would just be opening this online business for my local clients in lockdown. So I was imagining a sort of small little online business, and then I go back to teaching in person. And then what's happened is actually this business has really thrived over lockdown. And I'm guiding people from Australia, Japan, France, Italy. They're coming from all over. And they're coming because the people that I was teaching locally have told their friends, who've told their friends, who've told their friends, and they want to practice with their friends or their niece or their nephew or their mother or their daughter together in this online space. And there's a real sense of community there, a real sense of connection. And the numbers are more than I'd ever even would dream of. And I'm sure it's coming about because I'm more able to connect with people, and I think that's coming from what you have been sharing and teaching and guiding, with that course, and also course, I've gone on to study further with you too. So, you know, I think it's just been amazing. So I'm sure you're a big part of that.
Well, I'm so happy. Like, this is exactly why we do what we do, because, you know, like yourself, there's people have so much that they've already gathered, like you already had so much to offer, but then it's like getting the last bits in place so that everyone can really be in integrity.
Yes.
It's just beautiful to see what can happen when that is just kind of slots into place.
Yeah, it is that. It's kind of like I sort of knew what I was supposed to be doing, and I think sometimes I was doing it very successfully, but I think sometimes I wasn't, and it was not just as solid and confident and easeful. And now I feel all of that, you know.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Danny, for sharing all this.
You're so welcome, and thank you for your fantastic course. Loved it.
Yeah, well, you're very, very welcome. And we very much look forward to anything and everything that's going to unfold for you from here on in.
As do I.
Yeah,
Thank you.
beautiful.
Really
Thank
kind.
you.